Today we'll be speaking more about the cruise ships and the type of them, and one of them is the Dahabiya, as a Nile cruise trip is a very enjoyable experience that any visitor must make when he or she visits Egypt. Historically, the Nile cruise was the only way to visit the temples and tombs located along the stretch of the river. It is still a popular means of visiting Upper Egypt and has many advantages to other means of travel. The Nile and its institution were basic to the Egyptian worldview, and unlike most of the peoples, the Egyptians oriented towards the south, from which the river came, so that the west was on the right, with the result that it was the good side for the passage into the next world. The year and calendar were adjusted to the Nile and the stars. And to be speaking more about tourism and the Nile, to be specific, we are hosting today on Nile Cruise Dr. Shady Atman, the tourism expert and the owner of a Nile Dahabiya. Dr. Shady, thank you very much for being with us today on Nile Cruise.
Thank you.
Good
really
morning
glad.
to you, sir. And we are here in this fantastic location by the Nile. To you, as a tourism expert, what does the Nile symbolize to you?
For me, the Nile means life itself for Egypt. Since the dawn of the history, Egypt wouldn't have been here if the Nile wouldn't have been here, like Herodotus said. And for me, it's not just like some place where I work. It's my true love. I call it my love. When I'm on the Nile, it feels like the first time I was here. It feels just like it. It's an enjoyable experience. It's lovely. It's relaxing. I've been around in the world, but I've never felt like when I'm here on the Nile. I'm just here a few hundreds of meters away from the chaos in Cairo, but I feel like I'm already in Aswan.
Yes, it's true.
In your opinion, how did the Nile shape the history of Egypt?
I think it has to do everything with the old history of Egypt. If not, it wouldn't have been a god to all Egyptians. You know, the Nile god was named Habi, and Habi was represented a man with breasts and a big belly, which means fertility. It brings to Egypt all kinds of goods. It means life itself. So everything was related to it, and Egyptians loved it. And we have in the ancient history pharaohs who sanctioned citizens who are polluting it. And when they are in the afterlife, the gods had to ask them if they had polluted the Nile or not. They cannot go to heaven if they were not good to the Nile.
So Egyptians have been polluting the Nile ever since the dawn of history.
I think so, but the good part is that Egyptians are trying to not pollute the Nile ever since.
Well, sir, this brings me to a very important question. I guess that we are not making proper use of the Nile, because I've been to so many countries where they have rivers and they are making very good use of the fact that they have river. For example, using it for transportation. This is one way to use it, and also for tourism. They have this nice boats that takes you around the sites through the river. So do you think that we can make the best usage of the fact that we have the Nile River here in Egypt, that we can not just limit down the usage to the Nile cruises to Luxor and Aswan and that's it, but we can actually bring more tourism if we can think of more creative ideas?
Absolutely. Just one word. It's absolutely true, because the Nile is like no river in the world. In its length, its beauty, its landscape, its people can be used much better than the way it is used for now. Even for transportation, I've been in the Delta, and there is some places which is not accessible by the Nile, which is really sad. We have to do some real work there. I think the government are trying to do some hard work there, but it needs some more. And even for tourism, I think there is about 600 Nile cruises between Luxor and Aswan, but for now, as everybody knows, we are having some hard times in tourism all over Egypt, but we are hoping for better.
Yes.
And we have signs from outside that it will come back, and the government is doing some real effort on this level.
Yes, in your opinion, as an owner of a Nile Dahabiya here in Egypt, what about tourism by the Nile? How can we make it better in the coming years, of course, after the tourism was hit badly since the 2011 revolution here in Egypt?
Yes, I think the owners or the workers in the tourism domain have to do a big effort to attract people to the Nile, and mostly Egyptians, not just foreigners. Because if the Egyptians really realize what the Nile means to them, they will change their life according to it. They will do everything to keep it the way they hope for, and this will reflect on the tourism. Everybody will like what we like for ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. So, but I guess that things have started to change, because in recent years we have seen, for example, in Ramadan, some boats making suhoor and iftar in the Nile, and the ship cruises through the Nile, and you get the food from another ship, and you get people singing. Also, you meet people singing from another ship. So people started to think, more creatively. I hope that this would continue later on in a more extended way. But if we're talking about new innovative ideas to make the best usage of the Nile, what about yachts? Do you think that if we can have some yachts in the Nile River, that would even attract more tourism?
I think, from my opinion, as the owner of one of the Nile Dahabiyas, which means a sailing boat, the Nile Dahabiya was the way aristocrats and royalties sailed the Nile before the invention of engines. So for me, especially in Cairo, it doesn't need more pollution. Maybe sailing boat like dahabiyas are really needed in Cairo. There is about 50 dahabiyas in Cairo. All of them are docked in Aswan, and maybe one or two just in Cairo. It's beginning. I think it's great to sail the Nile in Cairo. It's a great opportunity for the Cairoites to enjoy it and to realize how beautiful it is just 5 minutes from where they live.
Exactly.
What about the other types of ships sailing through the Nile? Of course, we know about the Dahabiya. What about the Felucca, or the small boat, and the cruise ships, or the Nile cruises that sail from the north to the south of Egypt? What are the differences between every type of them?
Okay, well, you can sail the Nile by a felucca or a dahabiya or a big Nile cruise. Feluccas are small boats varying from 7 to 14 meters, just sailing by one sail. Dahabiyas are bigger. They're from 25 to 40 meters, which have two big sails with no engine at all, which is a really peaceful way to sail the Nile. And then we have the opportunity to sail the Nile through big boats like big Nile cruises ranging from 70 to 100 meters, having the opportunity to have more people on board, which is really suitable for mass tourism.
Yes.
Which is really great, and I think the government was thinking about it because before we could not sail the Nile from Cairo to Aswan because some security problems, but now they are thinking about bringing it back, which is great.
Yes.
Because personally I have lots of friends who are dreaming about it, and they didn't have the opportunity to realize it till now. But I think now it will be better for them.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But sir, again, since we're speaking about new ideas when it comes to using the Nile, what about sports? I mean, I know that the Nile River is being used for several sports, including rowing, for example, and we have several rowing clubs here in Cairo. But do you think that we can use it even